Hello, everybody. Thank you for that intro, Ali. And I believe that music is a direct feed from my brain every day as I try to keep up with what's going on in AI. It might have been easier for us to talk about what hasn't happened in AI this year rather than what has happened. But Bob, I'll also introduce Bob.
Hi, Bob here. I think one of the things that hasn't happened is AGI, but it really feels like almost everything else has happened. Our trend report covers 11 specific AI trends, but Bridget and I are just going to hone in on 5 for you today.
Great. And the first one we are going to talk about, it's fitting that it's the first. I mean, when we start talking about data, maybe your mind gets that buzz that mine used to in chemistry classes. But really, even though data may be the unsexy trend, the boring but important trend, it's how we start every project. We're seeing 75% of brands are increasing their investment in data as part of Gen AI projects. 41% are not sure they're ready. Every AI project inevitably starts as a data project. We see it as the sourdough starter. But Bob, I guess my question for you, for those 60% that don't feel ready, where would you point them?
So I think I know that data is often described as boring. I've been doing it for a long time. I'm used to it. I think the one really nice thing that the 60% of the people are getting right is people are finally starting to concentrate on it because everyone's deciding or seeing that data is really going to be the differentiator when using AI to drive value for your business. And so I know we're supposed to be hyping AI today, but if I had only one project to do this year, it would be to modernize data infrastructure, get all that data in one place, get it ready for AI, because it's going to be the thing that differentiates companies that are doing proofs of concept from those that are actually delivering real results with this new technology.
Absolutely. And speaking of real results, I know Ali bemoaned the fact that she did not make it to Taylor Swift. I do not mean to rub this in and quote Taylor Swift, but we've seen this movie before. I think I've seen this movie before 3 times in the past 2 decades, where when a new technology comes along, brands think, this is it. We're going to hold on to this. This is going to raise us above all competitors. This is going to differentiate us. Spoiler alert, what we are seeing is with the adoption of AI, all brands are going to have efficiency of scale. All brands are going to have deeper insights. So then what do? You still have to differentiate with the basics. Know your brand purpose, know your customer. And that's why I think we see Starbucks struggling right now. They have huge AI adoption. What they've lost is a sense of who they are and who their customer is.
Yeah, and I really, on the flip side of this, it's we can talk about the unique aspects of this democratization that we're seeing. It's really the destroyer of a lot of the competitive moats that we've grown accustomed to over the past 10 or 20 years. I think generative AI is really the big reason that a company like Perplexity, which is tiny, can really take Google on and deliver a product that is actually differentiated, but in the same kind of market as Google, where you're thinking like Google has this huge scale, but Perplexity is really able to win just with its own kind of internal dedication, its ideas, and its people. And I think that's really exciting that now these smaller companies can take on these big incumbents with just their ideas and the people and kind of the real drive to be better. I think one of the other things we've been talking about for years is this dream of hyper-personalization for marketing. In fact, it's always disappointing. It's always disappointing when I buy something like a pair of skis and the next recommended products are 4 additional pairs of skis. I don't want 4 more pairs of skis. I want something else. And so this ability to really understand the product and recommend something that I'm actually going to want, and the ability to scale out the content to create those different messages is something that I really think is going to change this market and marketing over the next couple of years.
100% agree. I think for a time, brands might have had the insights, but they just didn't have the way to create that content at scale that they needed for personalization. And I really think what a DEPT client has done with creating tens of thousands of assets monthly to deliver that personalization at scale is key. And I think it brings across a question too of if everybody is going to experience a different expression of a brand, if every piece of content created is, if this content is just for me and nobody else sees the same content, brands become infinite in a sense, in their sense of expression. Nobody's quite seen it the same way. We also talked just a little bit earlier about perplexity. And looping back to that, one thing we've seen a lot of this year is working with clients on how are they going to better show up in a zero-click world. And maybe we could ask Gemini this question, but Bob, where do you think we should focus in on when we're not surfacing links right away, when there's AI summaries at top? How do brands show up in this world?
Yeah, we're working really hard on this one. Like SEO is cool again. It's kind of like it was 10, 15 years ago. And we're working on tools that really help understand what the search engines are going to bring to the top, how they're going to answer certain questions so that our clients can be there at the forefront and start to stand out. Search is kind of being thrown for a loop right now, and it's really important to stay current on a lot of this stuff so that you can come out on top.
Right. And I think, I think this example of search is familiar with everybody on this call because it's such an example of how we've already embraced AI in our everyday life as consumers and also workers. So when we talk about AI in the workplace, it's already here. Folks are already using AI for their jobs, whether their employers like it or not, and whether their employers know it or not. And so now we have to move from these discrete use cases of folks using AI to do their job better, to actually integrating it throughout the organization to create a culture of collaboration, to create a culture of togetherness and connection again. And what do you think about that, Bob?
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm really optimistic about this. I think there was a ton of doom and gloom at the beginning when AI first came out about maybe jobs disappearing. And I'm just not seeing that at all with our colleagues at DEPT really finding new tools and methods every day using generative AI and there's a real enthusiasm kind of driving that instinct to find new things and do really interesting things with this new technology. That's our time. That's a wrap for these 5 seemingly different trends. But there's an important undercurrent that'll come to light more in 2025.
Yeah, and I think that undercurrent is we have these 2 fish in a fishbowl here. And really quickly, that's a story from David Foster Wallace, where 2 fish are swimming in a river, and an older fish swims by and says, "How's the water?" And they swim on for a little bit, and the other one turns to the other and says, "What is water?" And that's where we want to end up with AI. What is AI? It's going to be everything, everywhere, so embedded that we don't even notice it. It becomes the chorus, not the headline. And as it becomes not the chorus, we can really turn our back into where are we driving innovation? Let's move from efficiency, let's move from cost savings, and let's move into innovation. And with that, let's pass it back to Ali.